welcome to my small garden. I will be picking some tomatoes where I'm going to be making a dish called Potatoes Pil Pil. So here goes. We still have a few remaining tomatoes from this summer, and this one's a bit stubborn. My goodness. So these are yellow tomatoes, but any ones will do, any color. Right, got it. Alright, and now we will need about 4 stems of fresh thyme, which you can obviously buy at any grocery store, more or less. But to be honest, if you didn't have fresh thyme, you could use about a quarter of a teaspoon of dried thyme. So we have water for Matthew and wine for me. I think any wine would do, but I prefer a red wine. Ooh, it's a bit smoky. Alright, so let's go over the ingredients. Today we'll be using a quarter cup of oil. We have grapeseed here, and olive oil would be brilliant as an option. For a richer version of the same stew, I would just double the amount of oil, which seems like a lot, but it's traditional of a Pil Pil sauce. So then next we have our thyme that we gathered, and we also have 4 peeled and cut in half potatoes. You'll notice that mine look more like the moon with huge craters. That's because I dug out the eyes. So if you have the same problem as me, go ahead and do that. It's very important to rinse the starch off of your potatoes, and that will help them to hold their shape up with the intense boiling. And so what I do is I rinse them for about 30 seconds under cold water, and then I soak them in cold water until more or less I'm ready to use them. So we obviously transported and did a lot of the prep in the house, so it's been manageable out here on the cauldron. So, and what also makes this a part of a flavorful meal is the amount of garlic that is in here is actually 8 cloves. And for some people that might be the whole bulb, but I wanted to make sure that I had more or less the right amount. So it is 8 bulbs, or sorry, 8, what are they called?
Cloves.
Cloves, thank you. Cloves of garlic. And if you can see here, they are just sliced up in slivers. So no fine dicing, just the hardest work is to peel them, and it smells so good. I think if you were fortunate enough to have wild garlic, that would be amazing. So next we have our water here. This is just tap water, and because it's going to be over the campfire, we are using more water than we would on the stovetop. I will give adjusted amounts written down, but this is 1.5 liters of water, or the equivalent of about 6 cups of water. To do it on the stovetop, you would just need 4 cups of water, and I believe, what is 4 times 250? Is that that's a liter. Okay, that's this amount. So you would need this much of water in the metric system. And then this leads me to our next is the tomatoes that I was gathering before. So for fresh tomatoes, you are going to use 4 cups, or that's a liter again. And this is very much an adaptable recipe for the time of year, the times, seasons change, and what is available also changes. So typically, obviously red tomatoes will be more common, and you could very easily use a can of 10 tomatoes. All right, my eye was watering from the smoke, so sorry if a bit of this is a repeat. So we have our tomatoes, which I guess where I was saying is you can use 1 can of 10 tomatoes. Just buy the best quality of the 10 tomatoes possible, because we are really relying on the flavor to come through from really good quality ingredients. So next we have our pasta. This is a red lentil pasta. You could use a chickpea pasta in either a shell or twirl. Either one will do. And it looks like a bee would like to drink my wine just as much as I would. So, and last is our sea salt. And I use sea salt, but you could use any other kind of salt. Just know that not all salts are created equal. So, I forgot to mention, this is 100 grams of pasta, or 1.5 cups of pasta, and this is 1.5 teaspoons of salt. So if you feel uncomfortable adding it all at once based on a different kind of salt, just add it gradually and then adjust at the end. You'll want to adjust at the end anyway. Make sure it's to your taste. All right, let's get cooking. So first, start off with your oil. You do want it to be hot, and so that when you put it in the garlic, it starts to cook immediately. What a Pil Pil sauce is basically oil and our garlic and chili. We're not using chili today, but you could definitely add some chili. And you're just going to cook the garlic really quickly, and then immediately and carefully add the remaining ingredients apart from the pasta. We will cook that at the end. All right, let's see if the oil is already ready. Not quite, but you can see some bubbles beginning to form. Okay. All right, so now you can see we are ready for the rest of the garlic to be added. You want to cook it just for about 30 seconds, just to get the flavor out. If you were doing this at home, I would use a medium flame or medium setting on your stovetop. Now, next, very carefully add the tomatoes, because there's liquid, it can really sizzle. There we go. Then our potatoes, craters and all, our thyme. Just take it straight off, no fine chopping. You can put the stems in the fire. All right. Next, add your salt, and then all of the water. We are going to cover that and let it simmer. I would start by checking it after 10 minutes, more or less 20 minutes cooking time, but because this is a over fire, the time can vary. That's why this is really just a guide, and you just want to check the potatoes that they get soft, but not too soft. So, all right, I'm going to put the lid on. All right, so we have been boiling away for about 25 minutes. Actually, I think it took a while to get to a boil, so we chose to test it at 10 minutes and the potatoes were just hard, not ready at all, would not be edible. So I'm going to test it again now after 25 minutes. Testing the potato, and what I'm looking for is the spoon goes in. See how I've kind of cracked the potato? That tells you we're now ready to add the pasta. If you can't insert anything, if it just really resists, you can give it more time. I'd say 5 to 10 minute intervals. You just have to use your judgment. It's a judgment call. So alright, we're ready for the pasta. What we'll do is add all of it in one go, give it a stir, put the lid back on for about 7 minutes, and then we'll take it off the heat, let it rest for about 7 to 10 minutes more, just so we're not scalding the insides of our mouth. Alright. Alright, let's see how it tastes. Ooh, yes, those are looking great. Alright, I'm just getting the broth to make sure it's seasoned enough. The thing with a very oily broth like this is that it's a lot hotter. So definitely add a few extra seconds to tasting than you would usually. Ooh, it's so good! I think something about the cauldron makes it very, very enhanced in the flavor. Definitely recommend this option, but I know it's not accessible to everybody, and it's only newly accessible to me, so stovetop is a wonderful option as well. I'm so pleased. Alright, the goal is this could feed 4 people or 2 very hungry souls. Each get a whole potato, and thus you have potatoes pil pil. I'm not gonna lie, this is already my 3rd bite. It is just so tasty. So I hope that you enjoy making the potatoes pil pil as much as we enjoyed it. And I'm gonna have it another bite. It's so good.